You do not need to spend $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $12,000 on a gravel bike. For one, expensive gravel bikes have expensive parts, and if you use the bike like it's intended to be used, you're gonna wear parts out, you're gonna break parts, and those expensive parts are going to be expensive to replace. For two, you can spend like $2,500 to $3,000 on a bike with really, really good parts that is gonna essentially function exactly the same as that really expensive bike. And honestly, you're not gonna have that much more fun, or I'd argue any more fun, on a $10,000 bike that you're gonna have on a $3,000 bike. For example, my Cervelo was $3,000. It's got Shimano GRX, it's got hydraulic disc brakes. I upgraded the wheel set and it is awesome. So if anything, get a pretty good bike, not bottom of the barrel, not top of the shop, but one with decent parts, and upgrade that wheel set. Now, while I say that, it doesn't make sense to spend a ton of money on a really expensive bike unless you've just got the money to blow or you're like a dentist, they're still fun to look at. So right now, I checked out 5 really expensive gravel bikes from 5 of the biggest companies in the world. So let's get into it. The first bike on the list is the Specialized S-Works Crux, coming in at $12,250. First of all, every review I've read of this bike says it is a blast to ride. The bike is insanely light. Specialized claims the Crux has the best clearance to weight ratio of any bike on the market. On the S-Works build, you get SRAM Red E-Tap Axis hydraulic disc brakes, SRAM Red E-Tap Axis levers, SRAM Red Explore E-Tap Axis derailleur, and a SRAM Red Axis power meter for the crankset. For a wheel set, you get Roval Terra CLX wheels, which Roval claims is the lightest gravel wheel set on the market. And so I've never ridden this bike, so I can't comment on the ride quality. People seem to love it, but one issue I have with this bike, and I know they use the round tubing to keep the weight down, but I don't love the look of that, and I don't like the paint scheme of this bike. It just seems boring, and I think for a $12,000+ bike, Specialized could have put a little more effort into the paint scheme, just my opinion. The next bike on the list is the Trek Checkpoint SLR 9 E-Tap, coming in at $12,050. This is Trek's best carbon gravel bike and is made to race. The bike uses lightweight 700 series OCLV carbon for the frame and Trek's ISO speed to keep things smooth. This bike comes with a SRAM Red E-Tap Axis drivetrain and a SRAM Red Axis power meter. For a wheel set, you get Bontrager Aeolus RSL 37V carbon wheels. So while this bike is made to race and go fast on gravel, I like that it comes with a ton of mounts. It's got the internal gear storage on the down tube, and it's got 4 color options, and I honestly think the color options and the look of this bike is really nice. The third bike on the list is the Cervelo Aspero 5 Red Explorer E-Tap Axis, coming in at $9,700. Cervelo designed this bike to haul ass, not cargo. For the build on this bike, you get a SRAM Red Axis drivetrain with a power meter and SRAM Red Hydro disc brakes. For a wheel set, the bike comes with a set of reserve 32mm DT350 carbon wheels. In my opinion, this is not only the best looking bike on this list, but the best value. I also think Cervelo offers some of the best paint jobs of any bikes I've seen. So obviously I'm a little bit biased here when it comes to Cervelo because I ride a Cervelo Aspero. This is not the 5, this is the lower end carbon. It's not as light as the 5, but this bike is an absolute blast to ride on any surface. I've even ridden it on single track and it's fun on single track. So I highly recommend the Cervelos, and their paint schemes are just freaking awesome. Next on the list is the Cannondale Topstone Carbon Lefty 1, coming in at $8,500. This is a full suspension gravel bike. Cannondale claims that this bike is the most off-road capable and on-road comfortable bike ever made. The carbon frame uses the Kingpin suspension system, and for the fork, you get the all-new 30mm travel Lefty. For the drivetrain on this bike, you get a SRAM X01 Eagle E-TAP axis derailleur, Force E-TAP axis for the shifters, and Force E-TAP axis for the hydro disc brakes. For the wheel set, the bike comes with Hologram 23 super light high impact carbon wheels. And it's worth pointing out that this bike comes with a 650B wheel set, which 650B just makes sense on a full suspension gravel bike that's designed to do what this bike's designed to do. And last but not least on the list is the Warbird Carbon Axis Wide, coming in at $7,000. So this is the cheapest bike on the list and honestly not crazy expensive, but I wanted to include Salsa on here because they were really one of the first companies to offer a dedicated gravel bike. The carbon frame of this bike features Salsa's Class 5 vibration reduction system, which has bowed seat stays that are compliant with horizontally oriented chain stays that resist torque for lateral stiffness. And Salsa, being the adventure brand they are, it's no surprise that this bike comes with a ton of mounts for storage. For a drivetrain, you get a 2x12 SRAM Force E-TAP axis, and for brakes, SRAM Force hydraulic. For the wheel set, the bike comes with Whiskey No. 9 gravel carbon wheels. So this bike, honestly, while $7,000 is still a ton of money, it's a really nice bike for $7K. It also only comes as one color option, and that's this gold. It's almost like a light gold color, and I think it looks really nice. So there you have it, 5 really expensive gravel bikes from 5 big companies. I'm gonna reiterate here, you don't need to spend that kind of money on a gravel bike to go crush big gravel miles and have a good time. But, you know, if you fall in love with one of those bikes and you've got the disposable income, I guess go for it. But I appreciate you guys checking out the video. If you like all things cycling related, I've got a lot of big gravel races coming up. I'm gonna try to get some mountain biking content on the channel. So do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, like, share, comment, and until next time, keep crushing it.